Welcome back to Ben Films. In this video, I'm gonna turn a cheap dollar store clock into Miss Minutes. Hey y'all! Let's get started. So the first thing I had to do was take apart the clock, which was pretty challenging. The next step is probably not something you'll need to do if you buy a different clock, but I didn't think ahead and I bought a clock with raised numbers, which means I had to go and sand them all down. Ugh. Next, I cut out a circle of poster board that fits the inside diameter of the clock. So I scaled an image of Miss Minutes to the size of my clock and printed it out. This image was made by Odin Makes, and I'll leave a link to it in the description. I did make a little mistake scaling it though. I included the black outline as part of it when I should have just scaled the orange portion. But it worked out fine. I just painted the edges of the poster board with a color that matched the printout better. By the way, I did end up repainting that later with a better matching color. Next, I glued the poster board to the clock. Then I glued Miss Minutes' face to the poster board. When gluing on these pieces, make sure that they are really smooth so that the hands of the clock won't get caught on it. So definitely do not use hot glue for this step. Next, I took some armature wire, twisted it together to make a thicker piece, and attached more pieces on for the fingers. I also covered it in painter's tape to secure everything together. Next, I sculpted the hands on top of the armature using EVA foam clay. Sorry I didn't film this part, but I was at a friend's house at the time. But anyway, what I did is I cut these pieces out of 4mm EVA foam. I based these patterns off of what was shown in the video by Odin Makes, and I'll include these on my website. I glued them together with contact cement, and you should end up with some feet that look like this. I also made the arms, which were just about 75mm by 85mm rectangles, and I glued the edges together with contact cement to make some tube shapes. I sanded the seams to make them smoother. Then I filled in the seams with foam clay. I used to use caulk to fill in the seams, but I've recently found that foam clay works better because you can sand it after. And you end up with a much smoother seam that looks a lot more, well, seamless. I didn't film it, but once that dried, I sanded the seams smooth. Next, I heat sealed all the foam pieces using a heat gun. This makes the foam less porous, makes it more smooth, and prepares the surface for paint. Speaking of paint, I'm going to give these a couple of base coats of white Plaid FX paint. For the legs, I cut a length of these plastic stick things that were part of a toy I got when I was younger. I painted them black. I also gave the shell of the clock a base coat of orange spray paint. If your clock is not white, then paint it white before painting it orange. I left the hands white and painted the arms, feet, and outer shell of the clock with Deco Art Americana Spiced Pumpkin acrylic paint. I needed a few coats of that. And like I said earlier, I repainted the inside rim of the clock as well. I made a hole in the bottom of the clock to feed through some EL wire to light up the inside. I ran it along the inside edge, super gluing it in place. Okay, so I got the light glued around the edge, and I'm gonna see what it looks like. So, yeah, I want to see what it looks like, so I'm gonna turn off the light. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's great. So I'm gonna need to cover up this wire, so it doesn't glow. But I'm happy with that. It looks great on camera too. That's awesome. So I covered up the rest of the remaining wire with electrical tape. I put Velcro on the battery pack so I can remove it if needed. And I glued the rest of the wire on the back of the clock. I painted the front edge with black to create that black outline. Next, I put the clock back together. Then I made holes for the arms and legs. I didn't use a drill because I was too worried the plastic would break. I made an armature for the legs, then glued it into the feet and slid the plastic tubes over them. Then I attached the legs and arms using tape and hot glue. And then bend the arms into whatever position you want. And with that, she's finished. Hey y'all, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then click the like button. And if you like what you see on this channel, why don't subscribe? And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.